What's up, YouTube? You checking out the Frequent Flyer, and this is my review of the WLToys Galaxy V353 with Headless Mode. This quadcopter surprised me. I was surprised a lot by the fact that this thing is foam composite. You know, the body is foam composite. I didn't expect it to be foam. I thought that it was going to be plastic. But this thing is surprisingly light for its size, but it flies really well and it hovers really well, and I think that's part of that is because of the fact that it's so light, because it's foam composite, and I think that's a great idea. The funny thing is the landing gear, I actually thought that these things were part of the foam packaging that the quadcopter was sitting in, and it turns out that these are the landing gear for the quad. They're just two little light pieces of foam. They actually go on the bottom here. You just press them in the little spaces there to get them up in there. And so this is what the quad looks like with the landing gear. And this quad is a lot larger than some of the other quads that I've been flying, the bigger ones. For a size comparison, this is the DFD Super Scorpio, the F182, and so it dwarfs that. The props are a lot bigger than this, and so this thing flies really well. It has LEDs. The LEDs can be toggled on and off with the transmitter. It's using the WLToys V2X2 protocol, so you can fly it with all your other WLToys transmitters, but I don't think you'll be able to activate the headless mode with them. But the headless mode, in my opinion, first of all, I want to say I don't think that headless mode is really useful in quadcopters, because just because of the fact that I think that a lot of people are going to become confused. A lot of people don't know what headless mode is, and I think people are going to be losing their quads. They're going to be flying their quads away, trying to get them in headless mode when they lose control. And when you have to actually set the headless mode up before you take off, it seems. And headless mode isn't really that accurate in my testing as well. Sometimes it's accurate for a little while, but then it goes off. So I can imagine people flying their quads for a little while and then trying to use the headless mode to get it back to them, and it's not going to be accurate, and it's, you know, they're going to be losing their quads and things like that. Hopefully all will be well. It wouldn't happen that way. But back to this quad. When you take the landing gear off, it has these little landing feet here, and they're pretty tall on their own, so I would imagine that this thing would have a lot of clearance for grass, like landing in grass and taking off. It seems like it would work well. I haven't tested it, but it does sit up pretty high. Oh yeah, the lights, they're really bright, and you can see them really nice at night, and it actually shines through the body of the quad as well. You can't really see that in the daytime, but at night it really shines through. You can see it doesn't light up the whole arm, but these little these little check marks on the arms, it shows through those really well, and so that looks pretty cool at night when you're looking at it. The props are fairly large, as I was showing that the DFD Super Scorpio, the props are a lot smaller, and these I used to think these props were fairly large, but these things are monsters compared to that. And actually, I've held this quad side by side with the WLToys V262, which is a really large quad, and this quad is actually the same size, monopod to monopod, as the V262. So, oh yeah, it comes with this huge battery here. Let me try to get this battery out. It's a little hard getting the battery out. You kind of got to stuff it in there. So it comes with this huge battery. The voltage for this thing is 7.4 volts, and this is a it's a 850 milliamp hour battery. So it's a huge battery, and I've been getting like 10 to 11 minutes of flight with it. I don't have the one with the camera. I thought it came with a camera, but it didn't come with a camera, so I haven't gotten a chance to test the camera, the test flight times with cameras or anything like that. So yeah, so this thing flies pretty well. It's really nimble and agile. It's really responsive, and so it's just a good flyer. I really like the way it flies. You can do funnels with it, and the yaw rate is pretty good. The yaw rate changes with the pitch rates. So as usual with the WLToys quads, the low rates have a really slow yaw rate, but the higher the pitch rate, the better the yaw you get with these. And so the yaw rate is pretty decent when you get up to 80 and 100% pitch rates. So oh yeah, this is the transmitter here. It looks like just like the WLToys V353 transmitter that I have. It's the same color and everything. The only difference is when you hold this button here, it goes into headless mode. If you hold it for 2 seconds, it'll start beeping constantly to let you know that it's in headless mode. But in my experience with headless mode doesn't work well at all with this quad. I found that when I put this quad in headless mode, I will give forward input and it will go to the left or to the right or something like that. And when I pull back, it'll go to the right. It's just all mixed up. I don't know if I have a bad one or if it's with all of them. But I know headless mode definitely doesn't work well with this quad. So yeah, the lights can be toggled on and off, which is usually the case with the WLToys quadcopters. The rates, let me turn this on here to see if the camera would focus on it. So the rates are 40, 60, 80, and 100, and then there's the lights and the light toggle here, and then the headless mode. You can do manual flips with it. This quad flips really well. It flips fast and clean. And this button here, I would imagine turns the camera on and off and starts video. But I haven't been able to test that. So that's all there really is to say about it. It came with an extra set of spare props, and this is the instruction manual. The instruction manual is in the English. It's pretty straightforward, a little confusing, but it's manageable. The headless mode in there, it was looking as if you had to set up headless mode from the front of the quad, but I've tried it with the quad facing me and with it facing away, and it still doesn't act right. So that's all there is to say about it. So let's check it out in flight. Alright, so I'm out with the WLToys V353 with headless mode to test the headless mode and see how it works, how well it works. I'm going to be flying it with the stock transmitter. So let's start off in headless mode. Let me put it on 80% rates. Okay, so now we're in headless. As you can see, there's some problem with the headless mode on this one. Let me take headless mode off. Okay, so The white LEDs are the front of the quad, and the green LEDs are the back. So, and this is my left and my right. Okay, so let me land the quad. Okay, now, so I'm in headless mode now, so I'm gonna attempt to fly left with it. See, as you can see, it goes backwards. All the controls are switched around. Actually, when I fly right, it flies forward. When I input forward, it flies to the left at an angle, flying back to me. So something's going on with the headless mode on it. So that's not really reliable. Actually, I think I don't really see the use for headless mode. I don't think that's a good feature to have. I just think having to have the quad facing away from you is really going to throw some people off. I think people are going to be losing their quads, thinking that it's going to be an auto home feature or sort of something like that. And so the headless mode on this thing is all out of whack. I don't know if it's just this one, if I have a messed up one, or is it an issue with all of them. But surely headless mode is all screwed up with this one. Just fly it around a little bit. Do a couple flips. Fly it around a tree. So that's all there really is to show with the headless mode feature with this quad. The WLToys V353 with headless mode. That doesn't work very well. Okay, so this is the outdoor flight demo of the new WLToys V353 with headless mode. I'm going to be flying it with the stock transmitter. It's a little cold out here, a little windy. Okay, so we're at 40% rates. This thing is really loud. The wind is blowing to my left. Here's the yaw rate on 40% rates. So pretty slow yaw on 40%. Here's 60% rates. The yaw's a little faster but still slow. So the yaw is proportional with the rates. Okay, here's 80% rate. And this is the yaw. The wind blowing it, it's kind of hard to yaw in place with the wind blowing like this. Let's see if I can get it a little better. Okay, that's the yaw on 80% rates. Okay, and now we're at 100% rates. And that's the yaw. So pretty decent yaw on 100% rates. Landed for a second. Now, this thing is so light, the wind blew it right over. Okay, so show you that the lights can be toggled on and off. Okay, let's see it perform some flips. So it still flips really well in the wind. Try a forward flip. Yeah, so this thing flips pretty well. wind is starting to pick up here, so I guess we're getting a wind test as well. The wind is blowing towards me and to my left. So this thing is a really stable flyer. It's pretty agile as well. Let's see if we could do some giant funnels with it. The wind seems to want to blow it away while I'm trying to do funnels. Oh, heading for the tree. Yeah, so this thing is a pretty fast flyer, pretty nimble. Let me try to land it. It seems to flip over in this wind every time I land it. I just want to fly it without the landing gear. See how it flies without it. Okay, here's a flip without the landing gear. Into the wind. And this is with the wind. So you can see the lights just a little from the top. This thing is definitely a nice night flyer. Too bad I don't have the camera with this to test any of the camera work in the daytime, but I'll probably be getting a camera to test that and see how much it lifts and how much flight time it will get with maybe a camera mounted. So that's it, the WLToys V353 with headless mode. Thanks for watching.